I've always been a fan of pinball video games going all the way back to Atari 2600 and video pinball. There's always been attempts to replicate the table experience on computers and home consoles, but after a while, I guess they got tired of that idea or wanted to do something different, and you started seeing these action hybrids come up like Pinball Quest on the NES. That's the first one I can think of. And then Mario and Sonic and the Pokemon characters and even Kirby, they had games like this. But the ones that always really stood out to me were the Crush games. The Crush games started off with a pair of TurboGrafx-16 titles programmed by Maxat and Compile. First of those was Alien Crush, and then there was this game, Devil's Crush. Now, I talked a little bit about Devil's Crush before on my TurboGrafx-16 Top 5, which you can check out. I highly recommend you do, but I figured why not talk about it a little more. I feel that what makes the Crush games so interesting is the amount of personality they put into them. While they do have pretty good pinball physics for a video game, the dark visual themes are what really stands out. Alien Crush naturally having a bit of an H.R. Geiger inspired look, and Devil's Crush drawing inspiration from fantasy art and probably some heavy metal album covers too. The gameplay is naturally very straightforward here. It plays pretty much like a pinball game should. There's multiple areas of play where you can ball go up and down into, but while traditional style video pinball games have stationary targets and bumpers for scoring, this game has a few different types of moving enemies to battle with your ball and flippers. Not to mention some of those stationary targets will change as well, most notably the Dragon Lady in the center of the main table, who slowly reveals her true form. Compared to its predecessor, Alien Crush, Devil's Crush is a lot busier, has a lot more to interact with on screen. It also scrolls instead of cutting out, which is a huge improvement, as that was very distracting. It also has 3 tiers in the main play area and 6 bonus stages. I never really managed to stay in the bonus stages for very long, as they are quite difficult. Both these titles combine traditional pinball and video game action quite well. Even better than some of those mascot pinball games, if you ask me. Despite the fact that I really enjoy this game, the biggest gripe that I have is that the physics of the ball hitting the flippers is a bit off from mechanical tables or many of the games that attempt to emulate them. Sometimes you'll find a ball going in completely different directions than what you'd expect, and it takes quite a bit of getting used to in order to make some of the trickier skill shots. Visually, the game is quite good looking. The dark, creepy ambience of the art design and the visual effects of the monsters and their explosions are all really strong. As good as you'll find on the TurboGrafx, it's a little bit of a jump from the visuals of Alien Crush. And the sound effects, they're quite good too. There's a few small voice effects, as well as pinball and explosion sounds, and they are all quite good. The background music really only consists of a small handful of tunes dominated by the main theme of the primary gameplay area, which I'd say is a really good piece of music. This game, in my opinion, is a must-have for the TurboGrafx. On a console known for quirky side-scrollers and some fantastic shooters, a game like this really stands out. It deserves a look at least once, even if you're not a big pinball fan. It's pretty well known that the TurboGrafx-16 can be pretty pricey, and its best games come at quite the premium. Thankfully, this was one of those that was ported to both the Nintendo Wii's Virtual Console and the PlayStation Network, so it can be easily grabbed. It's also worth noting that in a slightly modified fashion, the game was ported over to the Sega Genesis by Tengen and Technosoft as Dragon's Fury. How about we take a look at that one? The visuals stand out here, especially that they squashed the gameplay area in this, and that's the first thing you're going to notice. There's also a lot more going on in the playfield because there's a lot more detail to the art design overall. There's also a few more bonus stages in this version, and the physics, they do feel a little bit different to me. But I have to say that I actually find a lot of this new art and extra detail a bit distracting. While the port is still darn good, I really prefer the original. Tengen and Technosoft also made their own pseudo-sequel in Dragon's Revenge. It's an original title, and it doesn't hold a candle to either Dragon's Fury or Devil's Crush. While it's an interesting curiosity, I really can't recommend that. Now let me send the ball over to you. What is your favorite video pinball game? The more I play it, the more I have to say, Devil's Crush is mine. Let me hear what yours is. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.